What's going on with your fam? You already know who it is. It's your boy E, back with another video. And y'all see the title of the video, man. So you already know I'm going to be talking about deodorant and breast cancer. But before I really start getting into any of the research on deodorant being one of the causes of breast cancer, I first got to give you the background story of how I pretty much decided to do research on that topic and figure all this stuff out. Around my middle school years of growing up, I really started to pay attention to, my looks, and I really tried to keep myself up. And I kind of wanted to stand out from all the other dudes that were in my class. And what I realized is that, none of the dudes would smell good and stuff like that. So I really started to, pay attention to the way I smelled. So I started buying perfumes and colognes and aftershaves, body oils, using scented lotions. Like anything that smelled good, I was trying to put it on my body so that when a girl come around me, she'd be like, dang, E, you smell good today. If you're in the 6th and 7th grade and a girl tell you smell good, it kind of make you feel good. Shoot, even now, when you go around a female, she tell you smell good, it kind of make you feel good. So, like I said, I would use all these different scents y'all can smell good for the ladies. And so I was like, man, if I'm going to smell good, why don't I smell good everywhere, So what I decided to do was take my deodorant and rub it on my pubic hairs. Because I was like, man, if I end up doing something with a lady, like, I want her to be like, damn, boy, you smell good. I just want to eat you up. Well, that's what I had in my mind, Like I said, I was young. I'm in middle school, And I know y'all probably thinking, you're a middle schooler. What you doing thinking like that? I ain't gonna lie, I was one of the biggest perverts ever in middle school. I was like a big pervert. But anyway, that's besides the point. But so I was like, man, I want to smell good everywhere. So just in case I ever, do anything with a female, I want to smell masculine. I want to smell good. So I began to rub deodorant down on my pubic regions. And so I noticed that after a couple of days of rubbing deodorant on my pubic region that I would get like lumps in that region. You know how like you get hit in the head and like a lump will come on your head or something like that? That's the same thing that was happening on my pubic region. And so I really didn't know what was going on, so I continued to use deodorant anyway. I kind of dismissed it in the beginning because I was like, well, it'll eventually go away. But I noticed that it didn't really go away after about a week or two. It kind of stayed. So I was like, well, how about I stop using deodorant on my pubes and see what happens? Sure enough, after I stopped using deodorant on my pubic region, about 3 or 4 days, the lump would disappear. And so I'm like, man, that's kind of crazy. Like, I really don't know what's going on. But whatever, I need to smell good for the ladies. So a week later, I went back to using deodorant on my pubic region. And again, a couple days later, I would get another lump. And I'm like, man, what the hell is this crap? And so that kind of was like an off and on thing as I, got a little older, because I even did it in high school as well. And, I would continue to get lumps, and even under my armpits, like when I was in high school, I used to take the deodorant, rub like 12 strokes up under my armpits. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back and forth is 1. So basically I used to do 24 strokes. And you got dudes can't even last 24 strokes in the bed. And so to put 24 strokes up under your armpits, that's a lot of strokes. So I will also get those same lumps up under my armpits. As I started to get older, I'm like, man, why I keep getting these lumps under my armpits, man? Something is not right. I really don't know what it is. Getting them under my armpits, I'm getting them in my pubic region, areas where I use the deodorant. So what I decided to do was do some research on the issue. I think it was like my freshman or sophomore year of college of when I decided to do the research on it. So pretty much I just typed in Google, why does deodorant give me lumps under my armpits? And so I'm reading little articles and stuff like that that pretty much explain, that deodorant had aluminum in it. And the purpose of the aluminum was to plug the oil and sweat glands so that you won't be able to release those oils, and the bacteria up under your armpits would not be able to feed off of the oils and sweat. And so therefore, it won't produce that musty smell. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But they went on to explain that some of that aluminum can be absorbed and get into the lymph nodes. And if you get swelling up under your armpits, it could be a lymph node swelling up. And I was like, well, dang, You mean to tell me that the deodorant that I put under my armpits got aluminum in it and it could possibly cause my lymph nodes to swell? That's kind of crazy. And so I started to think to myself, like, well, if, it can swell up my lymph nodes, what if some of that can actually get into the breast tissue as well? And so I continued to do more research on the topic, and pretty much I found out that all antiperspirant deodorants, they contain aluminum. Aluminum can get inside of the breast tissue. And so now with that being said, y'all heard the backstory. Y'all understand now why, I decided to do research on the topic. So pretty much right now, I'm about to pull up some studies and show you guys exactly what the studies have to say about deodorant and breast cancer. And I sum everything up at the end. As you can see, we have a study here published in 2014 that's titled, "If exposure to aluminum in antiperspirants presents health risks, its content should be reduced." And it goes on to say, aluminum is expected of being involved in breast cancer. Recent work in Cells and Culture has lent credence to the hypothesis that this metal could accumulate in the mammillary gland and selectively interfere with the biological properties of breast epithelial cells. And the study also goes on to say, in addition, several studies suggest that the presence of aluminum in human breasts could influence metastatic process. As a consequence, given that the toxicity of aluminum has been widely recognized and that this is not a physiological component in human tissues, reducing the concentration of this metal in antiperspirants is a matter of urgency. Pretty much what this study is saying is that not only does the aluminum in the antiperspirant deodorant have the ability to mutate the DNA in the breast tissue, it also has the ability to influence the metastatic processes of mutated breast tissue. We also have a study here published in 2013 that's titled "Possible Relationship Between Inflammation, Oxidative Stress, and Breast Cancer Microenvironment." The human breast is likely exposed to aluminum from many sources, including diet and personal care products. Underarm applications of aluminum salt-based antiperspirant provide a possible long-term source of exposure, especially after underarm applications to shaved and abraded skin. In addition to emerging evidence, our results support the possible involvement of aluminum ions in oxidative and inflammatory status perturbations of breast cancer microenvironment. And I wanted to put some emphasis on this study here because it talks about women that shave their armpits likely have an increased chance of developing breast cancer versus those that don't shave their armpits. Because when you shave your armpits, not only are you just removing the hair, which could stop the absorption of that aluminum in the deodorant, but you're also abrading or making slight tears in the skin from that razor, which allows the aluminum in the deodorant to absorb a lot better inside of the breast tissue. We also have another study here published in 2013 that's titled "Aluminum in Breast Cancer, Sources of Exposure, Tissue Measurements, and Mechanism of Toxicological Actions on Breast Biology." And experimental evidence suggests that the tissue concentrations measured have the potential to adversely influence breast epithelial cells, including the generation of genomic instability, which means that it causes DNA mutation, induction of anchorage-independent proliferation, which means it allows those mutated cells to proliferate and also migrate. And it also goes on to say that it interferes with the action of estrogen. This is important because mortality from breast cancer arises mainly from tumor spread rather than the presence of the primary tumor in the breast. Aluminum is also very pro-estrogenic, means that it increases the estrogen levels in the body. And we know that high estrogen levels in the body is one of the hallmarks of breast cancer development. So basically, a lot of women that develop breast cancer don't actually die of breast cancer itself, but they die because that tumor or that those mutated cells have spread to different parts of the body. And as you can see, aluminum in the deodorant causes metastatic spread of this mutated breast tissue cells. So the studies that I showed you pretty much concluded that women that shave their arms and then apply deodorant directly afterward could put themselves at a risk of getting breast cancer. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, dang, what I'm gonna do? I don't want to be stank and musty. Like, I don't know what to do. Well, you can try natural deodorants. I've tried natural deodorants. For me, they don't work. I was musty as hell after an hour of putting the natural deodorant on, so I kind of stay away from the natural deodorants. If I was a female, what I would do is just cut down on the amount of times a week that I shave my armpits. Like, if you're the type of girl that like to shave the armpits every day or every other day, I would pretty much only shave my armpits when I'm about to have them out. Like, if I'm about to wear like a dress, you know, or a tank top or something like that, it's gonna show my armpits, then that's when I shave, you know. But other than that, I pretty much wouldn't shave, because that's, again, putting you at risk of developing breast cancer. And not only that, I would cut down on the amount of deodorant that I actually apply up under my armpits. I would maybe do like 1 or 2 strokes with the deodorant, and that should be fine, you know. Don't be like how I was when I was younger, putting 24 strokes of deodorant up on your armpits. That was entirely too much, of course. So, you know, I'm not trying to scare anybody, and I know breast cancer is something that a lot of women, you know, fear to get and stuff like that, and I don't blame it. You know, as a man, we love the titties, and you know, if I could, I would save all titties, man. I love all titties, man. And you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of dudes would join in the fight with me to save the tatas if, you know, they could, you know. And so with that being said, man, ladies, just do your best to not shave as much. Do your best to, you know, not apply so much deodorant, and, you know, save them titties, man. I'm all for saving the titties. What would we do without titties? You know, they're awesome. They're awesome. So with that being said, man, I hope y'all learned something from this video, man. And if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'm going to see y'all in the next video, man. It was good chopping it up with y'all, man. Peace.